The air was thick with fear, and every shadow seemed to hold a threat. For the Fraser family, the world had become a maze of danger and uncertainty. But even in the darkest moments, one thing never wavered: their bond. After days apart, after struggles that tested every ounce of courage, the moment of reunion was closer than ever. Hearts were racing, eyes searching, and hope was their only guide. This is the story of a family who refused to be broken, a story of resilience, love, and the unforgettable power of coming home. The journey to reunion began in the heart of peril. Claire and Jamie had been separated from those they loved most, taken by ruthless enemies whose motives were dark and unforgiving. Every hour apart stretched like a lifetime, filled with worry and dread. The forest seemed endless, each tree hiding both danger and the faint glimmer of hope. Claire, determined as ever, fought against despair, her mind racing through plans and memories of those she held dear. Jamie, equally resolute, faced every obstacle with unwavering courage. Knowing that survival alone was not enough, they needed to be together. As the rescue unfolded, every step was a test of nerve. Silhouettes darted between shadows, horses thundered across rocky paths, and the sounds of struggle echoed through the dense woods. It was a battle of wits and willpower, as friends and allies moved silently to outsmart their foes. The fear of capture never left, but neither did the determination to reunite the family. Every movement mattered, every decision could mean life or death. They pressed forward, guided by the hope that the reunion they longed for was still possible. The rescue was not just a physical journey, but an emotional one. Every glance over a shoulder reminded them of what they had lost and what they were risking to regain. The silence between the chaos was heavy with anticipation, as if the land itself was holding its breath. Shadows of danger lurked everywhere, hidden traps, sudden ambushes, and the ever-present threat of betrayal, but the Frasers' resilience shone through. Through clever maneuvers and unwavering courage, they edged closer to safety with each passing moment. Even in the darkest moments, a spark of hope flickered. Memories of laughter, shared meals, and quiet evenings together fueled their determination. The thought of seeing familiar faces, of embracing those they loved, kept them moving forward. Every obstacle faced, every danger survived, brought them one step nearer to the moment that had been a distant dream: their family reunited. The forest, once a symbol of fear, slowly transformed into a path toward home, carrying with it the promise of relief, joy, and a bond stronger than any danger they had faced. The forest began to thin, revealing glimpses of open hills bathed in the soft glow of early morning. The Fraser family's path back home was not just a trail through the wild, it was a journey through every fear, every memory, and every hope they had carried during their separation. Every step was heavy with exhaustion, yet every heartbeat carried the pulse of determination. The air smelled of damp earth and pine, mixing with the faint scent of home that seemed to grow stronger with every mile. Jamie's boots crunched over the uneven ground, each sound echoing the weight of responsibility he bore. He could feel the tension in Claire's shoulders, her fingers brushing the hilt of a hidden dagger, ever vigilant. Behind them, the younger Frasers clung to courage, their eyes wide but resolute, learning that bravery often comes when the heart is tested most. The journey was not a simple marchette, was a dance with danger, with each shadow potentially hiding enemies and each rustle of leaves a warning. Yet, with every step, they moved closer to the warmth and safety of family. The landscape itself seemed to mirror their emotions. Rivers glistened like threads of hope weaving through the land, while cliffs rose like silent sentinels, reminding them of the obstacles they had overcome. The wind carried whispers of the past laughter around a dinner table, quiet prayers in the chapel, and the soft hum of a lullaby long forgotten. Memories of home propelled them forward, blending seamlessly with the urgency of the present. They knew that reunion was not just a moment, it was the reward for endurance, courage, and unshakable love. Night fell like a velvet curtain, and the stars emerged one by one, illuminating their path. Fires from distant cottages flickered like distant promises, guiding the weary travelers onward. Even in the stillness of the night, every crack of a twig or distant howl reminded them of the fragility of their journey. Yet the Frasers pressed on, not with blind hope, but with a profound certainty that each step, no matter how painful or slow, was leading them back to each other. And in that certainty, the heart finds strength, and the soul whispers the truth: every family knows home is never truly lost, and reunion is always worth the fight. The forest gave way to open fields, and in the distance, the warm glow of candlelight spilled from familiar windows. Every heart beat faster, not from the march, but from the hope that had been building for days. The Frasers paused, taking in the sight of home. It wasn't just a building. It was the promise of safety, love, and belonging. The wind carried faint laughter and the scent of home-cooked meals, stirring emotions that had lain dormant under fear and worry. Jamie's hand found Claire's, fingers tightening in silent reassurance. They exchanged a look no words needed, because both knew the journey had been as much about keeping hope alive as it had been about surviving the dangers outside. Around them, the younger Fraser's eyes widened with anticipation. Every step forward was measured, careful, as though approaching a sacred space where joy and tears waited in equal measure. Even the horses seemed to sense the change, their breaths slow, their steps soft on the familiar path as they reached the edge of the property. Shadows moved, shifting into shapes that were at once familiar and heart-stopping. A figure turned, a hand raised, and the realization hit: they were truly together again. Silence enveloped the moment, broken only by the soft rush of wind and the beating of hearts. And then, in a single breath, the first hug was shared, tight, desperate, and filled with the relief of survival. Tears glistened in the dim light, not from sorrow, but from the overwhelming joy of finding each other after days of uncertainty. Each embrace was a story of endurance, its clasp of hands a vow renewed, no matter the trials. They would not be torn apart. Even without words, emotion spoke louder than any dialogue. Fingers brushed hair, shoulders pressed together, and eyes met in unspoken acknowledgement of all they had endured. The world outside might have been harsh, but within that circle of family, there was safety, warmth, and love stronger than any danger. The camera could linger on silhouettes against the flickering light, on hands meeting, on small gestures of reassurance, and every shot would tell the audience exactly what mattered. The Frasers were home, and nothing could break them again. The night had settled over the Highlands, but the warmth around the Fraser family glowed brighter than any fire. Silence lingered, but it wasn't empty. It was full of everything words could never capture. Every shared glance, every gentle touch told stories of fear, courage, and love. Claire's hand rested lightly on Jamie's shoulder, their eyes meeting with a quiet understanding. They had survived not just the danger, but the weight of longing, separation, and uncertainty. Every hug exchanged whispered, "We are here. We are together. Nothing else matters." The younger Frasers clung to that sense of safety, their small hands gripping their parents with a mix of relief and awe. Even in the quiet, their faces reflected everything the journey had demanded of them: bravery, patience, and the enduring hope that home could still be found. The shadows of the past few days, the fear, the chase, the isolation were now fading into memory, replaced by the comforting certainty of family. The air seemed to hum with unspoken promises to protect, to support, and to cherish one another, no matter what storms may come. As the camera pans over the softly glowing cottage, the wind carries whispers of laughter, quiet prayers, and the faint hum of a lullaby. Every movement, the brushing of hair from a tear-streaked face, a hand squeezing another in reassurance, becomes a symbol of resilience. The reunion is not just a moment. It is a living testament to the strength of love, to the courage of hearts willing to fight for each other. It's the quiet moments that linger longest. A shared smile, a lingering embrace, a glance that says everything without a single word. And as the stars emerge above the Highlands, the family steps together into the night, their silhouettes merging into one. The journey has ended, but its echo remains. A reminder that danger may test us, but family binds us. Stronger than fear, stronger than distance, stronger than time itself. In this quiet, candlelit home surrounded by hills and memories, the Frasers stand not just as survivors, but as a family reunited whole, unbroken and infinitely resilient. The glow from the cottage windows spilled across the quiet field, painting the Fraser family in warm light. In this moment, the world outside the dangers, the chase, the fear felt distant, almost unreal. Every glance shared, every gentle squeeze of a hand spoke louder than any words ever could. Jamie and Claire exchanged a silent smile, a quiet acknowledgement of the trials they had survived together. Their love had been tested, stretched across fear and distance, and now it shone brighter than ever. The younger Frasers mirrored that. Emotion faces soft with relief, eyes reflecting the depth of comfort only family can provide. Small gestures carried the weight of their journey. A hand brushing hair from a tear-streaked cheek, a subtle press of a shoulder, or the gentle sway of an embrace all spoke of survival, courage, and unwavering devotion. Even the simplest touch became a story of endurance. Each moment seemed stretched in time, like the universe itself had paused to honor the reunion. The surrounding hills, silhouetted against the starlit sky, stood as silent witnesses to the power of love that had weathered storms both literal and emotional. The night air carried quiet reminders of what had been lost and what had been regained. The whisper of the wind, the faint murmur of distant rivers. Even the soft creak of the cottage door all became part of the family's story. They didn't need words. The language of shared experience and resilience filled every gap. Every embrace told a tale. Of fear transformed into hope, of separation transformed into reunion, of trials transformed into an unbreakable bond. These were the moments that lingered, etched into the heart, far beyond the dangers that had preceded them. As the family gathered under the soft glow of lanterns, shadows danced gently across their faces, highlighting not just the relief, but the quiet triumph of survival and love. They laughed softly, whispered words of gratitude, and held each other a little tighter, knowing that each heartbeat was a testament to endurance. For the Frasers, this reunion was not just a return to home, it was a reclamation of joy, a proof that no matter how dark the path, love and family remain the guiding light. And in that glow, every soul, every story, every memory converged into the singular truth. Together, they were unstoppable, unshakable, and infinitely whole. The night had deepened, and the Scottish Highlands stretched endlessly under a blanket of stars. The Fraser family stood together, silhouetted against the soft glow of the cottage, a picture of resilience and unity. Every breath they took seemed to carry the weight of what they had endured: the fear, the chase, the longing gone yet. Now it was replaced by relief, by quiet joy, by the warmth of being truly home. The journey had been treacherous, the dangers relentless, but in that moment, none of it mattered. What remained was love, enduring and unshakable. The kind that survives storms both fierce and silent. Jamie and Claire lingered at the center, hands entwined, eyes reflecting the firelight and memories of the days that had threatened to tear them apart. Around them, the younger Frasers laughed softly, small smiles of victory over the hardships they had faced. It was not just a reunion, it was a renewal, a reclaiming of hope that had seemed fragile just hours or days before. Every hug, every touch, every glance whispered the same message. Together, they could face anything. The land around them seemed to celebrate rustling trees, the whispering wind, even the distant hills bore witness to a family restored. Moments like these are quiet yet powerful. A hand on a shoulder, a tear wiped away, a gentle nod. Of reassurance, these small, intimate gestures spoke louder than any words ever could. The Frasers had discovered something universal. The strongest bonds are forged not in calm, but in crisis. Not in ease, but in endurance. Their reunion was more than the end of a journey. It was proof that love, courage, and loyalty can overcome even the darkest trials. And as they stepped together toward the warmth of home, their silhouettes merged into a single family. Stronger for all they had endured, the camera could linger on the soft glow of the windows. The shadows of hands held tight, the quiet laughter echoing into the night. The story does not end with danger, nor with fear, ends with the unspoken truth that family is the heart of resilience. Every obstacle faced, every mile traveled, every tear shed had led them here, to this moment of unbreakable togetherness. And as the stars watched silently above, one thing became clear. No matter how far life pulls us apart, the bonds of family are the light that guides us home. Asterisk, the night air was calm now, carrying only the soft sounds of the Highlands whispers, of wind through the trees, the distant call of an owl, and the gentle crackle of the cottage fire. The Fraser family stood together, their silhouettes outlined by warm candlelight, each face touched by relief, love, and quiet triumph. Every fear, every danger, every long hour of separation had led to this moment, not just a reunion, but a victory of courage, loyalty, and unshakable family bonds. Jamie and Claire lingered at the center, their hands entwined, eyes meeting in a glance that spoke more than words ever could. Around them, the younger Frasers huddled close, laughter and soft murmurs weaving a tapestry of joy that filled the night. This was a reunion that transcended danger. It was the proof that love survives trials, that hope endures even in the darkest hours, and that the heart's true home is always with family. Every small gesture, a hand held, a shoulder pressed, a tear wiped, a weight told the story of resilience, courage, and devotion. The camera could linger on these quiet moments, capturing the warmth of reunion, the serenity of home, and the strength of bonds forged in adversity. The story of the Frasers does not end here. It lives on in every heart that believes in the power of family, in every soul that knows love can overcome even the harshest trials. And as the stars twinkle above the Highlands, one truth becomes undeniable. No distance, no danger, no darkness can break the ties that bind a family together. For viewers, the takeaway is simple yet profound. Life may separate us, challenges may test us, but love, courage, and unity will always guide us home. And for those following the Frasers' journey, this reunion is more than a moment. It is a reminder of why we watch, why we hope, and why we never stop believing in the power of family.